What's up guys, welcome back. This is Alden from Alden's Outdoor. Today I've got this shop that I'm gonna be fixing. It used to be a shed and I kind of turned it into a shop, and then now it's like all falling apart. So in this video we're gonna fix the whole thing. Some of the walls are collapsing, so we'll figure out what we're gonna do there too. But first, I gotta clean out this loft here, all the stuff on it, and then I'm gonna take the loft down and all the shelves and the workbench and everything that's in here, because I got a brand new stack of plywood to put on the floor. Alright, so we got everything off the loft. Taven's been helping me. He sweeps the floor and he's getting all the stuff off the walls that's hanging. So next we're going to clear this bench off and then knock it down. So let me show you guys this problem we've got going on here. So you see how the logs are like literally just pretty much sitting on air, like there's nothing here, and the log is very loose and moves, which is not good. So I'm gonna have to put a floor joist under the logs. I'm sure it's like that the whole way around, and I also have to put a log there because, or I mean a beam there, because I wouldn't have anything else to secure the new plywood onto. We're probably gonna end up leaving the old plywood here, except for this piece in the middle that's a patch, and then the piece that I'm standing on. We're gonna move all of this patch pieces out, and then we're just gonna put the new stuff on top of the old stuff, because I don't wanna have to put joists under everything on every single wall. And hopefully that'll help us with the mice problem I have in here too, because there's holes literally everywhere, and there won't be holes everywhere when I'm done. But now we got to take out this bench right here, and I'm gonna see if I can just lift the loft up and slide pieces under it, under the legs, instead of having to take the whole thing down and then put it back up when I'm done. All right, so we got the whole thing swept out. And as you can see, that's why the patches were there. This floor was rotten a long time ago. And then I finally decided to change it, but I just swept all the dirt into the holes because they're gonna get covered up. Who cares? No one's gonna see it. And it's not like it matters anyway, so I still have to pick up some trash in that corner, but then I'm gonna get ready and see if I can lift up the loft and slide pieces under it. I don't know how well it'll work though. We'll just have to try it out. So I've got 2 4x4s under this 2x4, and then this 2x4 runs across because this part right here from that line down actually sunk, so in order for it to be level, I had to put a 2x4 there. I'm guessing that it's 2 inches. I don't know for sure, but it looks to be about 2 inches. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just needs to look good. I tested and I can lift those up about 2 inches by hand and slide wood under, but I would have to have a second person to help me, right? So we'll see if Taven can do it. And also, I don't know what I'm gonna do about this, but over here on the outside, we have a slight problem with a rotted log. So I'm thinking I might just take 2, because the ones above and below it are not rotted. So I'm thinking I'll just take some 2x4s and put them like pretty much over it and screw them into the top one and the bottom one. Kind of hold the weight, but we'll see. This was what I was originally going to use under the floor, but it was too tall, so it wasn't going to work. And this is all the old wood from out of there, and I probably could reuse this piece. It's all good other than that hole right there. And this is the new stuff that I got for actually pretty cheap from the lumber yard. So we're going to get this sheet in there and see if Taven can slide it under the 2 loft joists. So I ended up taking the loft out anyway because I just couldn't get around it. So I took the loft out, and now I've got these pieces laid in like this, and my grandpa's gonna come over and help me because I am having a hard time with what I'm gonna do next, because I can't really, my dad won't let me use the table saw by myself to cut that piece or these pieces. So I'm gonna have to ask my grandpa to help. Alright, so it's been some time. I forgot to get footage of the cutting because my grandpa came and I just didn't want it to feel awkward. So I would do a full sheet, and then I'd do a section there, and then a full sheet, and then a section there. And Alright, so I got it all done. I know this isn't the best way to do it because you can't really know where the floor joists are, but... Alright, so it's a couple days later. I had to move all the stuff in here because it started to rain outside. As you can see, the dirt's all wet. But I got this workbench from my parents for Christmas, and it's got a pegboard with hangers. Oh, that one just fell off. And it has a little magnetic light that goes here, and it has outlets on it on the side here, and the light has a little USB that comes around, and I can plug in right there and then flip that and it turns it on. I also got a bunch of other tools, but first before we do anything with this workbench, I've got to get this stuff back out of here, and then I'm gonna maybe build a loft along the back wall instead of on the side, and then we're gonna have the bench on the back wall too. But first I gotta get everything back out of here. I'm not really gonna show that though, because I already showed it once. Alright, so I've got most of the stuff out, and I'm looking at this wall here, and I don't like the way it looks. It doesn't look nice, I guess. So I'm debating on putting plywood there, but the other part of me is also like, well, what if you just like put a clear coat on it, or sweep it off with a broom or something and get most of the dust off and see what it looks like. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a broom and sweep the wall off real quick and see what it looks like. Alright, so that doesn't seem to be working too well, so I'm going to see if I can just sand the whole wall. It sounds like a pretty labor-intensive project, but I'm going to try and sand the wall. I'll be back. Alright, well, it's the next day. I sweeped this wall off with a broom. I tried sanding it, and it all failed, so I just kind of slept on it, and what I'm going to do is paint it. I've got a can of paint that I found in our garage that my dad said I could use, but the first problem is it is 19.6 degrees in here. I don't know if you can see that. So I got to warm this up a ton before I can paint anything. So I've got 2 heaters out here, and I'm going to plug them in and then come back in like 45 minutes and see if it changes anything. Alright, so it's been about 4 hours. I've had both heaters running. It's in about the 20s outside, but in here it is 52.3. So a lot warmer, obviously. It's not ideal, but it's probably about as warm as I'm going to get it in here. So I'm putting this cardboard down because I kind of want to protect the floor a little bit. I don't want to just have paint splats everywhere. And Taven's going to join us. Kind of like a grayish blue color. Alright, so I got this wall done. It's a little blue. I don't know how I'm going to be able to blend the floor in with this. I wasn't expecting it to be like this, but yeah, so I'm going to clean off this wall and try and paint that wall too. We'll see how that goes. I've only used about not even a quarter of the bucket for that wall, so that's pretty good. It looks good from 10 feet away, but you scoot up close and you see things like that. But from here, it looks pretty good. got this wall finished, that wall finished. I'm gonna do this wall now. Got it all laid out and everything. I put the workbench here in this corner, and I think this is where I'm gonna leave it because it looks pretty good, and I got all the stuff off of that shelf right there, and I put it on here because I'm actually gonna paint this shelf blue as well, I think. And then I'm gonna kind of copy that same design and put more shelves right here, maybe. We'll see. This wall's finished. The window kind of looks crappy compared to the wall now, but that's fine. So I'm gonna do that wall and this one, and I don't think I'm gonna have enough paint left to do those triangles on top. So we're just gonna have to hope that people look like this when they're looking at things instead of like that, you know? So yeah. Alright, well, it's been quite a bit of time now. It's been like 3 weeks since I filmed the last part of this video, but I'm back at it again, and now I'm going to build a bench so that this one just like continues all the way to the wall pretty much. And then, I don't know, I'm probably going to put a shelf under it, maybe, but that might not be in this video. Look at that, I cut that board so perfect with the Sawzall that it literally just hangs there. It's not screwed in. See, I can take this thing right off. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get a 2x6 and hang it along the wall back here for something for the bench to sit on, and then I'll probably have a 2x6 there too. Oh, look who we have here. Hey buddy, what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? Ow. Ow, frick. Dude, you better leave me alone. I'm filming. I've got you on camera, bro. You better stay back. The piece of plywood that I'm going to use is this one. It doesn't look great, but I'll just flip it over to the good side and it'll look a little bit better. But it's not going to be any means perfect. Hey, bro. This is Chuck. Hey, you can't climb that. You can't climb me either. Get off. Will you ever leave me alone? Yeah, you like it? You're on YouTube now. Alright, so I got that 2x6 mounted, and I went and measured the plywood, and that right there should be about the thickness, so that the plywood might sit a tiny bit higher, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch, but it won't bother me too much. It'll sit higher than this, like 1/16 of an inch, but that won't bother me too much. So I'm probably actually not gonna put a 2x6 the rest of the way there. I'm gonna put one right here. And then I'll have this one, obviously, will go from that corner to the wall. And then the plywood will go on top, and then I'll have a 4x4 that I put next to this leg right here. Alright, so before all of you guys go crazy, I did measure that. And it's the same height as that one. It doesn't probably look like it, but it is. So now we're going to put this board on. And I'm going to figure out what the dimensions to the plywood I need to cut are. Alright, so I cut this piece of plywood to size width-wise. And I cut it with the Sawzall. And that thing's almost dang near perfect. So I'm not complaining about that. You guys are probably like, why is he using a Sawzall instead of like a skill saw or a table saw? Well, I have a skill saw and a table saw, but my parents are not home, so I cannot use those unless they're home. So I decided to gamble with a Sawzall, and it worked, so we're good. We'll see how this cut right here goes, but I haven't even nailed this in yet, and it's not going anywhere. That's probably about as snug as I could get it with a Sawzall. Alright, I got it cut and put up. The cut's not perfectly straight, obviously, because it's a Sawzall. You can see some curves, but I think it turned out wonderful. I do have a gap back here in the corner because I've got this extension cord coming through the roof. And then I'm going to have a little sound bar, like utility bar, I guess you could call it, with like all the outlets and stuff on it plugged in down there. Or I'll just plug it in like right here. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure things out. But I think this looks pretty good. I'm probably going to paint this black. And then I'm going to clean this whole place up. And we'll see what it looks like.